Good evening and welcome to Cstv News at 24 on Cstv. My name is Dorcas Mensah. Tonight's news bulletin is brought to you by Rema Ocean Agency, NAP Apartment Hotel, Crystal Jewelry Tech Shop, and Sarah's Dream Jewelries. Now, coming up in our news bulletin, 21 remand inmates granted bail in Tamale. Also, Foreign Affairs Minister urges Muslim community to intercede for peace. Multi-choice Ghana invests over 200 million Ghana cedis in the creative industry. Moving on to the international front, Benin's former president steps down. There's another story will be coming your way in tonight's bulletin on Cstv. Please stay with us. For more news updates, follow us on our social media handles at CSTVGH. Now, the news in details. As the country marks its 69th Independence Celebration Day tomorrow, 6 March 2026, former President of the Republic, President John Agyekum Kufuor, has wished all citizens a happy Independence Day in advance.
Just a few days to the anniversary of our independence. So naturally I say happy anniversary to all Ghanaians. There's still a lot of work for us to do to move ahead. Ghana is a land of promise, and nature, I believe, means very well for us, and we must all pull together to realize the prosperity and happiness that nature, I believe, wants for us as a nation. So I wish you all a happy anniversary and fellow feeling for all Ghanaians. Good, inclusive governance for all of us. Accountable governance. Responsible citizenship. I believe the future is bright.
Moving on to other stories, 21 remand inmates at the Tamale Central Prisons have been granted bail under the Justice for All program in a renewed effort to decongest prisons and improve access to justice. The decision followed a special court sitting at the prison during which 37 applications were reviewed. Addressing the media after the hearing in Tamale, a justice of the Court of Appeal, Justice Angelina Mensah, said the program was not only reducing congestion in prisons, but also strengthening public confidence in the justice system.
2 were discharged unconditionally. Since changed their plea. They had been charged with murder, but they pleaded guilty to manslaughter, and they were accordingly convicted. 1 were granted bail. 4 bail applications were refused for various reasons. Applications were struck out, and then 3 referred for psychiatric treatments. Data from the Ghana Prison Service Records Unit indicates that the total inmate population is 13,620, which comprises 1,745, that's 12.81%, and 11,875 convicts, that is 87.19%. Over the past 19 years, the program has impacted on the remand population in the prisons, bringing it down from 30.57 in 2007 to the current 12.84%. So Justice for All has done well in that direction. The intervention has been great, and we seek to improve upon it.
And now let's move on to other stories. First Lady and the President of the Republic joined to host the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Terence Michael Drew, and his spouse, Dinah Prince Jew at an official lunch at the presidency in Accra. Prime Minister revealed that President John Dramani Mahama address at the United Nations General Assembly last year inspired him to visit Ghana. Speaking at the Jubilee House during a state visit, the Prime Minister said he was moved by President Mahama's speech and immediately expressed his desire to meet the President. Minister for Foreign Affairs, Samuel Kwejeto Ablakwa, is urging the Muslim community to use the holy month of Ramadan as a period of fervent intercession that will lead the sensations of hostilities in the Middle East rising from the killing of the supreme leader of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Speaking at the second edition of the Fatah dinner organized by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, he prayed for religious tolerance.
It's directly to the essence of diplomacy: mutual respect, understanding across cultures, and cooperation for the common good. Your Excellencies, we are living in very challenging time, particularly for our brothers and sisters in the Muslim world. Conscience is being called upon at a time of great stress in the Middle East and the Gulf regions. And it is my fervent prayer that we use this blessed month of Ramadan to pray for peace to reign and for the guns to be silenced in this region. Ask that this holy month of Ramadan will lead to a cessation and a de-escalation of the ongoing conflict. Your Excellencies of the Diplomatic Corps this evening, a very significant reminder of the strong bonds of friendship, mutual respect, and constructive engagement that exists between our country and the larger international community. At a time when the world faces complex challenges from conflict and insecurity.
And now let's move on to the OT region. Headmaster of the Dodi Papase Senior High Technical School, John Mensah da Silva, has appealed to the government and non-government organizations to support the school with a modern dining hall.
It is also important to reflect honestly on some of the challenges facing our school. Nana Chairman, currently, the school does not have a well-constructed dining hall or assembly hall. This affects the comfort and welfare of our management of the school. Is to the regional minister through the district executive to assist us get the contractor back to site to complete the installed dining hall kitchen project, which was started in December 2015. The project was initiated to provide a safe and healthy environment for our learners to eat and socialize. However, due to unforeseen circumstances, the project has been stalled. The contract was awarded on 11 December 2015 to the Fiat Development Company Limited and was to be completed or on before 31st December 2016.
The headmaster, while speaking during the school's SRC celebration of the school, also added,
Governors, management, and staff and the learners will be very much pleased if you could use your high office to assist us get a 2-unit classroom study building.
More stories will be coming your way after the commercial break. Stay tuned.
Yema wakwaba ediba Answer Company Limited. So wo pe blocks machines ya eye papa. Na ne bonso esan eda formo dia. Enye na enwani Answer Company Limited. Yewo conveyor blocks machines, hydraulic blocks machines, pallets, any blocks machines in one accessories nyina. Na afei so blocks machines ahodro a wo pani nyina bi nso ewo ho. Hwehwe ye kira kwan ene ya. Ye was Spinters Road 18 Junction. Ye ni KFC dan no na edi nhwe animu. Freye ewo 05240 ana say 0540725850. Amstel blocks machines papa pa efie.
Welcome back from the commercial break. You're still live on Cstv News at 24 on Cstv. The news continues. MultiChoice Ghana has invested over 200 million Ghana cedis in the country's creative industry, as announced by the managing director, Alex Ochre. This announcement was made at the MultiChoice Ghana, emphasizing the company's dedication to the local entertainment sector. In an interview, Alex Ochre discussed the impact of this investment.
5 years ago today, or last week, we celebrated, we embarked on a bold journey, to create a different narrative for Ghana, tell Ghanaian stories, elevate local talent, and give our filmmakers, actors, writers, and technical teams a home where their craft could shine. I've invested over 200 million Ghana cedis since we launched Aquaba Magic 5 years. That deserves a lot of applause. Aquaba Magic has become more than a channel. It has become a cultural force. We have showcased powerful narratives that reflect the heartbeat of our society, our joys, our challenges, our humor, our resilience, and our aspiration. From drama to comedy to reality, documentary, the diversity of our content has re-energized the creative landscape and ignited new conversations about what is possible for Ghanaian film and television.
And now moving on to another story. Member of Parliament for Ofuasi Ayeribi Kojo Opoin Nkrumah says the government must be transparent about the methods being used to achieve Ghana's recent decline in inflation. While acknowledging the drop in inflation, he has urged authorities to fully disclose the strategies behind the figures and outline the potential long-term implications for the economy.
Meanwhile, the cost push side, which is for me the most critical side, is not being dealt with. So tariffs are going up, cost of production is going up, but the Bank of Ghana is now coming in to do heavy sterilization. The cost of it is that, one, you are beginning to get signs from the Bank of Ghana that their open market operations cost for 2025 is so huge on their books. So you will notice, if you are paying attention, that they've started a public relations exercise to prepare people's minds for their accounts, which are about to be published. And it's because we suspect that the open market operations costs, which is effectively the tool they've used for sterilization, is gone through the roof. It comes at a cost there. The other cost is the opportunity cost of this liquidity being available to even stimulate productivity in the Ghanaian economy. So we have not said that the figures they are publishing are false. What we have said is that the methods need to be disclosed and interrogated. The other point we need to interrogate is, what is the inflation target for Ghana? 8 plus or minus 2. Why? Because the lower band of 6 is the minimum that is required for the necessary productive activity in the economy for growth and for jobs to be created. So when you use methods that now take us down, and the method they are using, I dare say they can even get to 0. When you use some of these methods, what are you actually doing to real sector productivity and job creation? The lower band is 6, the higher band is 10. So if the methods you are using are now taking you to 3.3, don't just jubilate over 3.3. Ask yourself, what does it mean for our inflation target? And has all the construct about the inflation target now been thrown out of the window, especially talking about the lower bound, which is necessary for productivity and jobs. And then finally, I always say that look out for the lived experiences of the people. So when the government says inflation now is 3.8 or today 3.3, don't just sit in the studios and take it. Get out there into the market and find out from people whether that is their lived experience or whether the rate at which the cost of the basket of goods they are using is rising is actually 3.3 year on year, or whether they are experiencing something.
Moving on to the international front, Benin's former president Thomas Bani Yayi is stepping down as leader of the opposition-less Democratic Party, citing health reasons. The 72-year-old said he wanted to fully dedicate this new phase of his life to rest. He said he would hand over interim leadership of the party to its vice president and governing bodies. We're going for a short commercial break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Now let's move on to sports. Arsenal beat Brighton 1-0 to go 7 points clear at top of Premier League, but all the talk was about Mikel Arteta's perceived time wasting. Brighton boss Fabian said Arsenal were not trying to play football and make their own rules.
I will never be that kind of manager who tries to win in that way. I want to develop players. I want that my players are keep improving and keep playing football on the pitch. And in the end, of course, every team will manage and waste time. But I think there has to be a limit, and the limit has to be set by the Premier League. The limit has to be set by the referees. At the moment, they just can do what they want. I'm not sure if I would ask now everyone here in the room, did he really enjoy this football game? I'm sure maybe one raises his arm because he's a big Arsenal fan. But beside that, no chance. Where will this go in the future? That's my question. Where will this go? Like at one point, one game we play 60-minute netto time, and then when you play against Arsenal only 50 minutes, then it's 10 minutes different. So is this for what the supporters are paying for? You get my point?
Coach Christopher Nimley has waded into the growing debate surrounding Andy Aye's potential inclusion in Ghana's World Cup squad and did not mind his word. Coach Christopher made it clear that sentiment and history should not influence squad selection for football's biggest stage.
I'll be shocked if Otu Trumpets offer the Oko Martinez Jatole Portugal if they sit down as a technical and they give a slot out of that 26-man slot to the one of the biggest shocks of my life. And I'm telling you honestly, with all falling, I'm not so much coach any major done that yet. The Numan football enough to know who should go to the World Cup and who shouldn't go to the World Cup.
And now let's move on to entertainment news. Award-winning singer Adina Tembi has opened up about the recent low visibility in the music scene, revealing that she took time off to rediscover herself and regain her strength. Speaking in an interview, she explained that although she released some projects during that period, the momentum was not as strong as it used to be.
I did release projects, but I guess maybe the momentum wasn't like where it used to be. So people picked it up and they started questioning like, what's going on, where's Adina? Which I understand, because all through the period that I was releasing projects, I was also going through a process of like self-discovery, you know, finding myself again and charging up, you know, because the industry tends to drain you sometimes, and I just felt like all those times that I stole myself away to like refresh and recuperate was necessary, because right now the energy is bad.
And so in entertainment news, Ghanaian comedian Clement Bonny, popularly known as Mr. Beautiful, has declared his desire to become president of Ghana. Speaking in an interview, he stated that although he would not mind occupying smaller political positions, his ultimate ambition is the highest office of the land.
Yes, I want to become the next president. One on this Kenya one. No. I want to become, okay? Becoming means a process. I will go through certain process to become.
And that will be our far news bulletin for tonight. But before we go, a recap of the top stories. 21 remand inmates granted bail in Tamale. Also, Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa has called on all Muslim community to intercede for peace. Multi-Choice Ghana invests over 200 million Ghana cedis in creative industry. On the international front, also, Benin's former president steps down. And this is where we draw curtain for tonight's news bulletin. Cstv News at 24 was brought to you by Grema Ushering Agency, NAP Apartment Hotel, Crystal Jewelry Pet Shop, and Sarah's Dream Jewelry. For more news updates, you can follow us on our social media handles at CSTV. My name is Dr. Mensa. On behalf of CSTV2, we wish all our cherished listeners and viewers a happy 69th Independence celebration. Good evening once again.